The first gunshot shattered the silence of Chairman Kang's funeral. Guests screamed. Bodyguards reached for their weapons. Black-suited men rushed across the grand hall as Min-Jun grabbed his mother and threw her to the floor. "Mother!" A second shot rang out. Glass exploded. The crowd scattered in panic. Min-Jun's dark eyes immediately locked onto his twin brother, Tae-Hyun. For 3 seconds, neither brother moved. Then Min-Jun slowly pulled out his pistol. "You finally did it, didn't you?" he growled. Tae-Hyun's eyes widened. "What are you talking about? You couldn't even wait until father was buried." Bodyguards from both sides drew their weapons. Soo-jin burst into tears. "Stop it. Have you both gone mad? If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Stories like this only get more emotional from here." The sound of sirens approached, but nobody cared, because everybody inside knew one thing. Chairman Kang, the most feared mafia boss in South Korea, had just died, and his twin sons hated each other enough to finish what death had started. Min-Jun slowly lowered his gun. "You disgust me." Tae-Hyun clenched his fists. "Believe whatever you want." Without another word, the younger twin walked away. The hatred between them wasn't new. It had started 28 years ago. Since childhood, Min-Jun had been the favorite. He was harder, more stubborn, more ruthless. Even his appearance frightened people. A black dragon tattoo stretched from his hand up to his neck. Chairman Kang always said he looked like a king. Tae-Hyun hated hearing that. No matter how hard he worked, his father always praised Min-Jun. And Min-Jun never let him forget it. "You'll always be second," he used to say. Their rivalry grew with age, until they stopped seeing each other as brothers. They became enemies. 3 days after the funeral, the entire Kang family gathered inside the mansion. Politicians, judges, business tycoons, mafia captains. Everyone waited. Attorney Lee adjusted his glasses and opened the late Chairman Kang's will. The late Chairman Kang leaves all his assets, companies, hotels, and overseas businesses to only one son. The room exploded into whispers. Min-Jun smirked. Tae-Hyun remained expressionless. Then Attorney Lee continued, "But the successor will not be chosen by strength or money." Everyone fell silent. "The woman who truly loves one of you shall determine who inherits the Kang Empire." "What?" Min-Jun stood up. Tae-Hyun stared in disbelief. The chairman recorded this instruction himself. A screen lit up. Chairman Kang appeared. Even in old age, his eyes carried authority. "My sons." Both brothers froze. "If you're watching this, then I am gone." Soo-jin began crying. Chairman Kang sighed. "I know you hate each other." Min-Jun looked away. Tae-Hyun lowered his head. "But power without love destroys families." He paused. "The woman who genuinely loves one of you will reveal which son deserves everything." The video ended. Min-Jun scoffed. "Ridiculous." Tae-Hyun stood. "I'm not interested in your empire." He walked away. Min-Jun smiled coldly. "Still running away, little brother." Tae-Hyun stopped. "I'm tired of competing with you. Because you always lose." The room became tense. But Soo-jin burst into tears. "Please, your father is dead. Must you continue like this?" Neither son answered. That evening, Min-Jun sat alone in his penthouse. He poured himself whiskey. Yet his mind wasn't on the empire. His mind was on one woman, Adaeze Okafor. The first day he saw her, she was standing outside her luxury restaurant in Seoul. Elegant, beautiful, confident. Her face had stopped him in his tracks. Her figure had turned heads everywhere she went. But it wasn't just that. She carried herself with class. She treated everyone with respect. And unlike other women, she never cared about his money. For 3 years, Min-Jun had loved her in silence. He smiled. "So, father, you left me a challenge." He picked up his phone. "Prepare my car." Meanwhile, in another part of Seoul, Tae-Hyun stood outside a fashion exhibition. His lips curved into a smile. Because inside, Adaeze was laughing. He loved hearing that laugh. He had known her even longer than Min-Jun. For years. But he had never confessed. He was afraid. Afraid his dangerous life would ruin her happiness. As the event ended, Adaeze walked out. Heads turned immediately. Men stared. Women admired her elegance. She smiled when she saw Tae-Hyun. "You came." Tae-Hyun smiled. You said your designs were being exhibited. I couldn't miss it. She hugged him warmly. Thank you. Neither noticed a black Rolls-Royce parked nearby. Inside the car, Min-Jun's expression darkened. His bodyguard swallowed nervously. Boss, that's young Master Tae-Hyun. Min-Jun's eyes narrowed. No. He stared at the beautiful Nigerian woman laughing beside his brother. No. His heartbeat quickened. For the first time in years, genuine fear crossed his face. Impossible. His voice became cold. Don't tell me. Inside the exhibition hall, Adaeze smiled. Tae-Hyun, you're such a good friend. Friend. The word pierced his heart. Before he could answer, another voice interrupted. Adaeze. Both turned. Min-Jun stood there. Tall. Cold. The dragon tattoo visible on his hand. Adaeze smiled warmly. Mr. Kang. Tae-Hyun froze. Min-Jun froze too. Both brothers looked at each other. Neither could believe it. And suddenly they understood. The same woman. The same beautiful woman. The same woman they had both secretly loved for years. Min-Jun forced a smile. Tae-Hyun. Tae-Hyun's expression hardened. Brother. Adaeze laughed innocently. You two know each other? Neither answered. And for the first time in their lives, the inheritance, the empire, even their father's death, became less important, because standing between them was the one thing neither brother was willing to surrender. Adaeze Okafor, and neither man knew that somewhere in the shadows, a sniper was already aiming at Kang Min-Jun's head. The sharp crack of a rifle shattered the night. Boss! Min-Jun's bodyguard lunged forward. Bang! The bullet tore through the windshield of the Rolls-Royce and buried itself into the wall behind them. Adaeze screamed. Tae-Hyun's eyes widened. Get down! Without thinking, he threw himself toward her and pushed her to the ground. Another shot rang out. People scattered. Women screamed. Min-Jun had already drawn his pistol. Find him, he roared. His men rushed into the darkness. But the sniper was gone. Min-Jun slowly turned. And the first person he saw holding Adaeze in his arms was Tae-Hyun. Something dark flashed across his face. You. Tae-Hyun stood up. What? Min-Jun grabbed his collar. You bastard. Have you gone insane? You knew where I was. Tae-Hyun pushed him away. Someone just tried to kill you, and you're accusing me? Who else? You knew she would be here. Adaeze stood between them. Stop it. Both men fell silent. Her eyes were wet with tears. Somebody tried to murder him, and you two are acting like children? Min-Jun softened immediately. Adaeze. No. She pointed at both brothers. I don't belong to either of you. Stop treating me like a prize. Then she walked away. Neither brother moved. But hatred had already begun to consume them. 3 days later, Min-Jun sat in the chairman's office. His dragon tattoo stretched up his neck as he clenched his fists. Increased security. His lieutenant bowed. Boss, should we retaliate? Min-Jun's eyes became cold. I want Tae-Hyun watched. Young Master Tae-Hyun? He wants war. Then I'll give him war. Meanwhile, Tae-Hyun slammed his hand on the table. This is ridiculous. His friend, Detective Park, sighed. You know your brother didn't order the attack. But he thinks I did. And now. Tae-Hyun rubbed his forehead. Now I'm afraid he'll destroy himself. Meanwhile, Adaeze sat alone inside her luxury apartment. She couldn't understand why her heart felt heavy. She had known Tae-Hyun for 4 years. He had always protected her, always listened, never crossed boundaries. But Min-Jun, there was something about him, something dangerous, something lonely, something broken. And despite herself, she saw pain behind those cold eyes. She sighed. These brothers will destroy each other. Then her phone rang. It was Soo-Jin. Adaeze. Mother Kang. Can you come? 30 minutes later, Adaeze arrived at the Kang mansion. The elegant Korean woman embraced her tightly. Adaeze, please save my sons. Tears rolled down Soo-Jin's face. They hate each other so much. They are hurting Mother. I know. Soo-Jin cried harder. When they were boys, they were inseparable. Adaeze frowned. What happened? Success. She smiled sadly. The Empire poisoned them. Then her face became pale. Your father loved them both. Suddenly, the doors burst open. Min-Jun entered. Seconds later, Tae-Hyun entered from another side. Both froze. Min-Jun glared. What is he doing here? Tae-Hyun laughed bitterly. I was about to ask the same question. Soo-jin finally exploded. Enough. Everyone froze. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm tired. She pointed at both men. Your father is dead. Must I bury my sons too? Neither spoke. 28 years. Her voice trembled. For 28 years, I watched my children become strangers. She collapsed into tears. Adaeze, tell them. But Adaeze shook her head. No. Everybody stared. She looked directly at Min-Jun. Then at Tae-Hyun. I'm leaving. What? Min-Jun asked. She wiped away tears. I can't watch this anymore. Tae-Hyun stepped forward. Adaeze. No. Her voice broke. I love both of you as friends. But this obsession is destroying your family. She looked at Soo-jin. I can't be the reason. Then she walked away. Min-Jun's heart sank. For the first time, fear entered his eyes. Tae-Hyun looked devastated. That night, Attorney Lee arrived with a flash drive. Chairman Kang asked me to deliver this if things became worse. The twins sat in silence. The video began. Chairman Kang appeared. My sons. Both froze. If you're watching this, then I have failed. His voice became weak. Listen carefully. The attack against our family didn't come from either of you. Min-Jun's eyes widened. Tae-Hyun stared. There's a snake beside us. Chairman Kang coughed. I trusted him for 30 years. But I discovered too late. His face hardened. Choi Sung-ho. Everyone gasped. Attorney Lee almost dropped the remote. The vice chairman? Min-Jun whispered. Chairman Kang nodded. He poisoned me slowly. He wants you to hate each other. He wants the empire. And if you continue fighting, he will destroy your mother. The video ended. The room became silent. Min-Jun slowly sat down. Tae-Hyun's face turned white. No, no. Min-Jun grabbed the table. Impossible. At that exact moment, Soo-jin's maid rushed in. Her face was pale. Young masters, what happened? Tae-Hyun asked. Madam. She burst into tears. Madam is gone. Everyone stood up. What? The security guards are dead. Madam Soo-jin has been kidnapped. Min-Jun's face changed instantly. His voice shook. No. Tae-Hyun grabbed the maid. Who took her? They left this. It was a phone. Suddenly, the screen lit up. Choi Sung-ho smiled. My dear princess. Behind him sat Soo-jin, bound to a chair, her mouth covered. She was crying. Min-Jun nearly lost control. You monster. Choi laughed. You two really disappoint me. I poisoned your father. I created your hatred. And now, I have your mother. His smile widened. Come save her. But only one of you will leave alive. The video ended. For several seconds, neither brother spoke. Then Min-Jun reached for his gun. Tae-Hyun grabbed his arm. Their eyes met. Years of hatred. Years of pain. Years of jealousy. Years of anger. And for the first time in their lives, they saw the same fear. Their mother. Min-Jun's voice broke. We can't lose her. Tae-Hyun nodded. No. His eyes filled with tears. We already lost father. We are not losing mother. Slowly, the two brothers extended their hands. And after 28 years of hatred, they shook hands. Neither brother knew that before sunrise, one of them would take a bullet meant for the other. Rain pounded the abandoned shipyard as black SUVs screeched to a halt. Min-Jun stepped out first. The dragon tattoo running from his hand to his neck glistened under the rain. Beside him stood Tae-Hyun. For the first time in 28 years, neither brother walked ahead of the other. They walked side by side. Min-Jun checked his pistol. Mother hates it when we fight. Tae-Hyun smiled faintly. She hates it when you curse too. Min-Jun almost smiled. Shut up. Tae-Hyun laughed softly. For a moment, they looked like brothers again. Then gunfire erupted. Bang! Bang! Down! The brothers rolled behind a container. Bullets tore through metal. Min-Jun fired back. Move left. Tae-Hyun nodded. Their men charged. Bodies fell. Explosions shook the yard. Inside the warehouse, Choi Sung-ho watched calmly. Bound to a chair, Soo-jin cried helplessly. My sons. Choi smiled. They're finally united. You're evil. I'll learn from your husband. No. Soo-jin glared at him. You learn nothing from him. Outside, Min-Jun smashed a guard to the ground. Tae-Hyun disarmed another. Back to back. But they used to, just as they approached the warehouse. Bang! Min-Jun froze. Blood splattered across his face. His eyes widened. No! Tae-Hyun staggered. The bullet had entered his shoulder. Min-Jun caught him. No! Tae-Hyun gritted his teeth. I'm okay. No, you're not. Brother. Min-Jun's voice broke. Don't talk. I'm not dying. Min-Jun's eyes became red. For years he had imagined defeating his brother, never losing him. Stay with me. Tae-Hyun smiled weakly. Look at you. What? You're crying. Min-Jun touched his face. Tears. Actual tears. He hadn't cried since he was 12. Since his father slapped him and said, "A king never cries." But now he couldn't stop. I can't lose you. Tae-Hyun looked surprised. Min-Jun lowered his head. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Tears streamed down his face. For everything. For every insult. For every time I made you feel less. For every time father praised me and I enjoyed it. Tae-Hyun's eyes filled. I hated you. I know. I hated you so much. Min-Jun nodded. I know, but I never stopped loving you. Min-Jun closed his eyes. Neither had Tae-Hyun. A voice interrupted. Touching. Choi Sung-ho emerged with Soo-Jin beside him. A gun pressed against her head. Mother. Soo-Jin cried. My sons. Choi laughed. One last tragedy. Let her go. Min-Jun roared. Drop your guns. They obeyed. Choi smiled. The mighty Kang family. What a joke. Suddenly Soo-Jin bit his hand. Aya. The gun slipped. Min-Jun charged. Bang. 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 3 shots. Silence. Choi Sung-ho collapsed. Finished. Soo-Jin ran to her sons. My babies. She hugged both men. And, for the first time in years, mother and sons cried together. 3 months later, Tae-Hyun had recovered. Min-Jun visited him daily. One morning, Tae-Hyun smiled. People say you've become soft. Min-Jun scoffed. They talk too much. And Adaeze. Min-Jun became quiet. She stopped answering my calls. Tae-Hyun laughed. You deserve it. Thanks. No, really. Tae-Hyun looked serious. You scared her. I know. You love the empire more. Min-Jun lowered his head. No. What? I love my pride more. That evening, Min-Jun stood outside Adaeze's restaurant. She saw him and frowned. You shouldn't be here. I know. I'm busy. I know. You nearly destroyed your family. I know. She sighed. Then why are you here? Min-Jun looked at her. No bodyguards. No expensive suit. No arrogance. Just a man. To apologize. Adaeze folded her arms. I'm listening. For years I thought I had to win. The empire. My father's approval. You. But I was wrong. She remained silent. He smiled sadly. My brother almost died because I couldn't let go. And I realized something. What? If loving you means losing myself, then I don't deserve you. Adaeze's eyes softened. I never asked you to fight. I know. I hated watching you two destroy each other. I know. And I was afraid. Min-Jun nodded. I know. She smiled. You say I know a lot now. He laughed. You noticed. Then she asked softly, do you love me? He didn't hesitate. Every day. Why? Because you're the first woman who looked at me and didn't see power. Her eyes became wet. And if I reject you, I'll still love you. And if I choose Tae-Hyun, Min-Jun smiled. Then I'll dance at your wedding. She stared at him, then burst into tears. You idiot. Before he could speak, she hugged him. And for the first time in his life, Kang Min-Jun felt peace. 6 months later, the Kang mansion was alive again. Laughter returned. Flowers decorated the gardens. Min-Jun stood nervously. Tae-Hyun adjusted his tie. You look terrible. Shut up. I'm serious. Shut up. Tae-Hyun laughed. Father would be proud. Min-Jun became quiet. Do you think so? Yes. And mother? She's already crying. Both brothers laughed. Then the music began. Adaeze appeared. Elegant. Beautiful. Classy. She walked toward Min-Jun with tears in her eyes. Tae-Hyun smiled. Not with jealousy, but happiness. During the reception, Soo-Jin raised her glass. To family. Everyone applauded. Tae-Hyun stood up. I have something to say. Min-Jun groaned. Oh no. Everyone laughed. Tae-Hyun looked at his brother. When we were boys, father wanted kings. He smiled. But mother wanted sons. His eyes became wet. And I think she won. Soo-jin cried. Min-Jun hugged his brother. I love you. Tae-Hyun smiled. I know. Everyone laughed. Years later, people would remember Chairman Kang's empire. His billions. His power. But the Kang family remembered something else. That love saved what power almost destroyed. And before you go, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with someone who believes family is worth more than pride. Because sometimes the greatest victory isn't becoming king. It's becoming a brother again. The end.